Good morning. My name is Kevin Burt. I'm with the Department of Workforce Services Unemployment Insurance Division. Today we are doing the weekly briefing on the unemployment insurance claims. This week is a report out on unemployment insurance claims in the state of Utah for the week of September 20th through September 26th. And I just want to start by kind of reviewing some of the data as it's a good way to kind of evaluate the trend and how things are going in the state when it comes to unemployment insurance. We ended the week of September 26th with 4,458 new claims. Last week that number was 4,473, so relatively identical to the previous week. It is important to note that it has been, we initially saw an increase in new claims about 27 weeks ago. It was on March 15th when we started to see an increase in claims. So to see still 4,500 people requesting a benefit 27 weeks or more than 6 months into this pandemic is a clear indication that this pandemic continues to be incredibly disruptive to employment. 27 weeks after, there's still 4,500 people requesting the benefit. Now, it is significantly lower than it was at the initial stages. The initial stages, the highest week we saw was 33,000 claims in a single week, and 4,500 is much less than that. But it is important to note that that's still 4 to 5 times higher than the average number of claims we took in 2019, which for the year averaged about 1,100 claims. As far as the benefit, traditional claims did go down by 3.3% for last week. The pandemic unemployment assistance, which is for the self-employed or gig workers, also went down by about 6.9%. Where we saw the increase is in the extended benefit. The extended benefit is a 13-week federally funded extension for those that have exhausted their state claim and they transition and apply for the pandemic extended benefits. That actually went up by 9.711%. I always highlight also continued claims. It's important to not just focus on new claims, but continued claims, because unemployment is you initially apply, but then every week you make an attestation to your situation and continue to request the benefit. If you have returned to work, you can simply stop filing a continued claim and your benefit will automatically end. That continued claim is an indication that I am still in need of the benefit. The continued claims have been down for now 21 consecutive weeks. Ended this week on September 26th at 44,306 continued claims across all programs. Overall, from last week, that's down by about 7.11%. It is still higher, similar to what I mentioned, that new claims are up 4 to 5 times of last year. The continued claims, even though it's gone down for 21 weeks, it is still 5 to 6 times higher than the average number of continued claims filed every week in 2019, when that number was under 9,000 people asking for the continued benefit. The traditional benefit, or the state benefit, is down 9.4%. The pandemic, or again the self-employed, was also down a little over 9% for continued claims, and the extended benefit was up a little over 1%. So that is another one where people are transitioning into that extended benefit. So for the year, or actually since this pandemic began, unemployment has taken over 309,000 claims for unemployment. For some context, last year we took 63,000 for the entire year. So we've taken a little or nearly 5 years of claims over the last 6 months. And also, we have met that demand by paying out now $1.5 billion in unemployment benefits since March 15th. For context, last year we paid out $150 million in unemployment benefits. And with that, I'll go ahead and open it up to any questions. And thank you for the question. So the question is, okay, there are a lot of positive trends, but of all the data, is there anything that is concerning or alarming? And there are some positive trends. To see continued claims, again, continued claims is the best indication of how many people are still needing the benefit. To see that number go down for 21 consecutive weeks is an indication that this economy is recovering. The unemployment rate being a little above 4% is also an indication that the economy is recovering in Utah and that Utah's economy is resilient. We also, again, we talk about, or we've always published every week, how many people fall off the benefit for 2 consecutive weeks just because they're no longer asking for it. That number last week was 11,000 people. That's a great indication that people are returning to work. Now, what is alarming to me, though, or what certainly can be seen as a little bit alarming, is the extended benefit. Remember, unemployment insurance is a time-limited program, and it is not income-based. So when you first apply for unemployment insurance, you are making a claim against the wages you have earned over the last 5 quarters. We do a calculation based on those earned wages of how many weeks you will be eligible for a claim. The max number of weeks a person can receive is 26 weeks. After those 26 weeks have been used, it is what's called exhausted. There's no longer a claim to the benefit. The CARES Act introduced a 13-week time-limited extension for this year to allow people who have exhausted their state benefit to transition into this 13-week extended benefit. But once that 13-week extended claim, or 13 weeks have been claimed, then there is just an exhaustion, even if the claimant remains unemployed. Again, it's not an income-based program. So individuals that are unemployed, unfortunately, if they are still unemployed at the time the benefit exhausts, there is no other benefit available to them. And I need to be a realistic Ryan when I'm painting this picture that there are now currently 10,000 or close to 10,000 Utahns that are on the extended benefit, which means those 10,000 have at max 13 weeks left of unemployment benefits before that number drops to 0 number of weeks eligible. Now, there is some positive things that the economy is a resilient economy in Utah. It's a diverse economy, so there are opportunities. But it is important to understand the limitations of the unemployment benefit. It can only be available for so many weeks, and then once those weeks are claimed, there are no other claims to be made until more wages are earned. So if an individual returns to work for several years, works, and then gets laid off through no fault of their own, they can make a claim based on those new wages earned. But again, it's limited to that 26 weeks, and luckily with this pandemic, a 13-week extended benefit. Okay, so the question is if there are industries, in particular the airline industries, that the current news is while they have people furloughed, they may transition to a permanent layoff. When it comes to the unemployment benefit will treat that individual the same, whether they're furloughed or laid off. So it doesn't change what you're eligible for. It doesn't change the process for the individual that is applying for unemployment. Continue to file your weekly claim. Remember, we made a decision, I guess it's about 6 weeks ago, where we ended many furloughs based solely on the attestation of the claimant. And what that did is the only thing that changed is individuals that were job attached or said they were job attached but hadn't returned had to begin reporting for job contacts. So the only change that's possible for individuals that go from furlough to layoff is they will have to actively look for work in order to remain on the benefit. If you go to jobs.utah.gov/COVID-19, we have an FAQ specifically about job search to help individuals navigate that registration, the completion of the assessment, and that 4 job contacts. In order to continue to receive the benefit, those 4 job contacts have to be reported every week. I did mention last week also, there is a check that if you submit a claim and then later you report those job contacts, it can delay processing because you're submitting a claim without those job contacts. So what we strongly encourage is to have every piece of information that's necessary to file a claim and fill it all out at the same time and submit it all together. Report your wages, report that you looked for work, report your 4 job contacts, and submit it all together. And that's the best way for your claim, your continued claim, to go through smoothly. But as far as those on the airline that have been furloughed for several months and now are leading to a layoff, again, this is going to be somewhat repeating. We strongly encourage looking for work. There are industries, this pandemic has not gone away. We're seeing COVID-19 cases increase. And there are some industries that are absolutely struggling in returning in this pandemic. And it doesn't appear that they'll return this year. It's important to, again, remember the limitations of the unemployment program. It will not last the length of this pandemic. And so once those weeks are exhausted, there is no more benefit for individuals, even if you remain unemployed. So actively looking for work, even if it's in a different industry than what you have worked in, is really critical, because you'll find that stability in employment that is absolutely not found in the unemployment benefit. Unemployment benefit is time limited, so it is not a stable program. It's provided temporary support to help people transition and re-engage in the workforce, and it can do the same for those in the airline industry, but you must be actively looking for work as some industries struggle to return. Jobs.utah.gov is a great place to start. The Workforce Development Division has done an excellent job trying to adjust to this pandemic. Yesterday, they announced the release of a new source of information of industries that are really growing and expanding, and that's going to be updated every month. So please actively look at jobs.utah.gov and find the industries that have proven to be resilient, have proven to grow, and look for opportunities there before the unemployment benefit unfortunately exhausts and is not available, even though this pandemic continues.